Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Tuesday, the 10th of October. Good to have you aboard. Part of the Believe Podcast Network and presented as always by Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. If you're dealing with a personal injury, no matter what kind, you call Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys. First, you call 911, and then you get the help you need from the best accident attorneys around, Anidjar and Levine. Maybe it's a back injury you're dealing with. It could have been at work. It could have been on the road. It could have been in public. No fault of your own. Well, Anidjar and Levine, they can help pursue compensation. They are dedicated to providing the highest client support with no hidden fees or costs. Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. Week 5 of the NFL season is in the books, so you know that means we're going to have an updated ZASLOW Show 2.0 power rankings. I love a good power ranking. Everybody knows that about me, so that's coming up on the show today. And with football in full swing, you know BetOnline is your number one information source for all your sports wagering info, all the up-to-the-minute stats, news, scores, matchup breakdowns. Get all the latest game odds, the spreads, the totals for all your NFL, college football games at your fingertips with BetOnline's real-time updates on stats, news, and odds all throughout the college football playoff, all through the Super Bowl. BetOnline gives you access to the best football promotions and contests available anywhere online. Head to the BetOnline website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Remember, use promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. So we got Canes to get into. We got Dolphins to get into. We're going to do Twitter Jam as well because today's Tuesday, and that's how we roll. You know what I'm talking about. How about tonight? Tonight is a very big sports night. Listen to this. Listen to what we have on tap tonight. Tonight, you got the Miami Heat who are in preseason action. You got some Heat basketball, and it's got some juice to it because you want to see a little bit of Jovic. You want to see a little bit of Jaquez Jr. You want to see what Tyler Hero looks like. You want to see Josh Richardson back in a Miami Heat uniform wearing number 0. You got some stuff you want to take a look at tonight. So, very big sports night tonight because you got the Miami Heat who are back in action tonight, preseason style, your favorite little basketball team. You got the National Hockey League dropping the puck tonight, regular season tonight. And that includes, you got a bunch of games on national TV tonight, including the Blackhawks and the Penguins. Connor Bedard, number 1 overall pick sensation. He's making his debut tonight for the Blackhawks. We're looking forward to watching a little bit of him. My son Corey keeps asking me, is Bedard on TV for the opening night? Are the Blackhawks playing? So if my son is invested in it, there are a lot of young kids who are going to be trying to watch this Connor Bedard. So we're looking forward to that. You got the Major League Baseball playoffs. You got today's the American League. Yeah, the American League gets going again today. So you have 2 Game 3s in the American League as they are shifting stadiums. And also a major night in the world of pro wrestling tonight. You got a little bit of wrestling wars going on tonight. Here's what we have. Tonight, you have AEW Title Tuesday. That's a big deal. If we were doing big deal or not a big deal for pro wrestling tonight, that would be a big deal. So you got Title Tuesday and going head-to-head with NXT, where you got a bunch of WWE stars who are scheduled tonight for NXT. John Cena, Asuka, Paul Heyman, Becky Lynch, Dominic Mysterio, Cody Rhodes with a major announcement. Who else is going to show up? You know there's going to be some type of surprise. This is a major night in pro wrestling. And speaking of which, last night we did another live stream for another episode of It's Still Real to Me. That's my pro wrestling podcast. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you want to subscribe to that so you can make sure that you get the live stream whenever we do it. We're doing it every weekend, of course, but sometimes you'll get some bonus episodes like last night. And we did a bonus episode last night leading into Monday Night Raw because we wanted to do a Fastlane recap from this past Saturday's WWE Premium Live event. So make sure you check that out. We're doing that live stream. That was a lot of fun. So there's a lot happening. Tonight's a big sports night. And by the way, I had a shitty night last night. The night ended up in the ER. Yup, night ended up in the ER last night. Got home like around 10:30. But night ended up in the ER, last night. So I took my son at soccer training. My older son, Corey, at soccer training, plays for U15 2009 boys, Weston Select. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it the other day, my son had a game this past weekend. They lost to a really good team from Davie, but my son's the goalkeeper. He had a game. It was amazing performance. Really, really cool. And so anyway, I take him to his soccer training last night, and about an hour into the training, I sit in my car. I was listening to Monday Night Football. I was doing all kinds of other stuff. And I get a call from my son. He's on the field, and he's calling me. That can't be good. And I pick up, like, Dad, I think I broke my finger. And it's like, oh, shit, man. Like, it's one thing for any other soccer player to break their finger, as long as you don't break your foot. When the keeper breaks his finger, bad. So I get out of the car. I start walking towards him. He's walking toward me, already with his bag on his shoulder. And he's holding out his hand. Looks kind of gnarly. And it looks like it looks like his pinky might be broken. It's his pinky. It looks like his pinky might be broken. So we got to go to the ER. And he's got a small crack in the knuckle of his pinky. Sucks. And they got a tournament this weekend too. The timing is awful. So they have a tournament this weekend. Luckily, because it's not major, could have been a lot worse. The doctor thinks 2 weeks is what originally said a month. I was like, a month he's got to miss? And doctor's like, no, I don't think he has to miss a whole month. Doctor thinks it could be 2 weeks. So, it sucks because they got a tournament this weekend in Coral Springs. So this weekend he's going to miss at least 3 games in the tournament. He'll miss the regular season game next weekend, and hopefully we're ready to go by the week after that. So that'll be almost 3 weeks. He should be good to go by then. So it sucks. Our night was shitty last night. It's the second year in a row he's the goalkeeper. Second year in a row he's had an injury at the start of the season. Last year he missed a month early in the season. He had a hip pointer. This is you can't get out there catching the ball using your hands. I don't even know if he'd be able to fit his finger in the gloves, So, anyway, it's shitty. So, we had a lousy night last night. Anyway, not as lousy a night as Mario Cristobal has had the last few nights. So, Coach Cristobal addressed the media yesterday. He takes the blame for the kneeling. I mean, of course he takes the blame for the kneeling. Like, what other option was there? Do you know how stupid it would have looked if Coach Cristobal gets out there and he somehow decides to defend not kneeling the ball? And I'm so over the whole thing. This is what they do. This is their thing. They haven't knelt on the ball once this year. Completely different situation. This is the first one-score game they've had late in games. Like, can you imagine if he came out and still tried to defend kneeling on the ball? Get the hell out of here. The part that gets, and that's like, I don't know, as more time is going on, I feel like he's such a meatball, Mario Cristobal. It's such a frustrating situation. And I guess this has always been the criticism, right, of Coach Cristobal is, not a good in-game coach, but hell of a recruiter. And if you could have one or the other, would you rather a great coach and subpar talent, or great talent, subpar coach? You'd rather great talent, subpar coach. Now, I don't like to use this as an example of not a good coach because he did what he was supposed to do and he stayed out of the way and it all worked out. But if you're talking about amazing talent and subpar coach, Larry Coker and the Hurricanes won a national championship in 2001. And I'm not trying to make it that Larry Coker wasn't a good coach. I think Larry Coker gets a bad rap. Like, he was the coach when they won the national championship. And if staying out of the way and letting the players, run things was the best avenue, then he made the right decision. So I don't like using it as an example because I feel like it makes it sound like I'm trying to say Larry Coker wasn't a good coach. I'm not trying to say that. But we all know that team was great talent, better than great talent, and maybe it was subpar coach, and they still won. Won big. And the other way around, I don't believe works. So I'd rather have Mario Cristobal be an incredible recruiter, getting the great talent, and have subpar coaching. But it can't be blunders that cost you the game. But anyway, this is what we knew. This is what we signed up for, right? If you're the Hurricanes, if you're a Hurricane fan, and they're going out and getting Mario Cristobal. But the part that gets me, it feels like one of those things where the meathead coach drills the players over and over not to make mistakes, not to make the same mistakes. If you make a mistake, you better learn from it, right? And if you keep making the same mistake, you're not going to play anymore. You're not on this team anymore. Like, that's something that coaches will ask of their players. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, but if you make a mistake, you better learn from it. But in this case, you have the head coach not learning from the mistake, making it over and over again, and it costing the team the game. And like, that part to me is so frustrating. Because not that I remembered, but this happened before in a game at Oregon against Stanford. This same thing happened, and he didn't learn from it, and it cost them the game. And if it was the other way around, or if it's a player who makes a mistake that costs the team the game, and then again makes the mistake and costs the team the game, they're going to get rid of that kid. Like, it's not acceptable, and the coach is going to drill into the players that is not acceptable. And you have the coach out there just being a meatball and allowing the same mistake to happen. And now the team is a laughingstock. Like, this is now their season. I mean, unless they go out and win the ACC. But this loss was so damaging that they're not going to get to the ACC title game as a result of this. But that's the part now over the last few days that's really stuck with me. Is Cristobal is this type of old school tough guy coach who will drill into the kids about making mistakes and then learning from it. And he's done the opposite. That's not being a leader. Like, that's not being a head coach. Don't allow this mistake to cost you a game. Fix the problem before it hits rock bottom. If you wait till it hits rock bottom, you've waited too long. And that's what happened. Coach Cristobal decided to continue not kneeling out the ball until, he'll never not do it again. But the fact that this was the tipping point for him to never not do it again, you waited too long. You waited till it became a problem. Stop doing the stupid thing before it becomes a problem. That's usually the sign of a really good head coach. Identify the issue and fix it before it becomes the problem. Anyone can fix it before, when it costs you the game. Anyone can make the change at that point. Making the change before, acknowledging that it might cost you a game, and fixing it before that happens, that's the sign of a good coach. But this is kind of what you signed up for, right? With Coach Cristobal. Now, here's the thing. So they have UNC next. UNC is this weekend, and it's a monster. Let me see if I got the line here on the game. I mean, obviously, I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess Canes are a 7-point dog. Let's see what we got here. Canes are, oh, wow, just 3.5. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then, you got to love UNC. If you're coming from my perspective, you probably love UNC. If I thought UNC was going to be given 7 and they're only given 3.5. So it's an ABC game this Saturday night, 7:30. So major national spotlight. Number 12 UNC, number 25 Miami. And I dig that Miami did not drop out of the top 25. And here's why. If you're using common sense, and, there's a human element to it because it's not a computer that's doing these rankings. It's human beings. If you're using common sense, the Canes should not have lost that game. The Canes lost the game because of a very stupid decision by the head coach. So kneeling on the ball or not kneeling on the ball doesn't make the Hurricanes any better or any worse of a football team as a whole. Now, it hurts their season dramatically. But as far as, do you think the Hurricanes are a good, how do you rate the Miami Hurricanes as a football team? Does not have, it shouldn't have any bearing on whether you took a knee or did not take a knee. So I kind of feel like they should have dropped out of the top 25. If they just lost it outright to Georgia Tech, I think they would have dropped out of the top 25. But because I feel like the voters know, they lost because the coach made an inexcusable decision. That doesn't change the fact that Miami is who they are. So you know what? We'll drop them in the rankings, but we're not dropping out of the top 25. They should have won that game. They were supposed to win that game. I feel like that plays a little bit of a role. You know what plays a really big role in the ZASLOW mansion? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to tell you about Sheets and Giggles. That's right. And when you use Sheets and Giggles, you go to sheetsgiggles.com. You're going to see, by the way, at Sheets and Giggles right now, so many good deals out there because it's Sheets and Giggles annual fall sale. I mean, if I were to tell you, you can get the best sleep of your life with Sheets and Giggles irresistibly soft eucalyptus sheets, a unique satin weave. Sheets and Giggles sheets are not only soft, but also breathable. You're going to sleep cool and comfortable all night long. Would that be something you'd be interested in? What if I told you, if you go to sheetsgiggles.com and you use promo code ZASLOW, ZASLOW, that you would get 20% off your first purchase? Yeah, sheetsgiggles.com, promo code ZASLOW, 20% off your first order at checkout. You're not going to have to worry about where you're going to get your bed sheets from now on because you're going to become one of over 100,000 Americans that are sleeping on Sheets and Giggles. And just like the ZASLOW family, never turning back. That's right. Sheetsgiggles.com, the most breathable, softest, coolest sheets you're ever going to sleep on. I sleep on a eucalyptus pillow. Not just pillowcase. I sleep on a eucalyptus pillow. You know, koalas sleep up to 18 hours on a eucalyptus tree. Think about how comfortable you're going to sleep on a eucalyptus mattress. Sheetsgiggles.com. Use promo code ZASLOW and get 20% off your first order. Sheetsgiggles.com. So here's the thing with this game this weekend against UNC. This has potential to be a major turning point for Mario Cristobal. What I mean by that is a major turning point for Mario Cristobal and this fan base, and not in a good way. If the Canes lose this game at UNC, and they lose big, not only are you going to point to it and say, this is fallout from such a crushing loss against Georgia Tech, but with so much heat from the fan base on Coach Cristobal right now, they're out for blood. Especially because it felt like, see, this is the part that bothers me the most. Not that I'm this hardcore Canes fan, because I'm not. The part that bothers me the most is it took away a great story. It took away a great storyline of the Canes being undefeated. Maybe they're ahead of schedule. Can they possibly appear in the ACC title game? They continue to climb the rankings. How high can they get? And that was taken from us by something so stupid. That's the part that bothers me the most. And the Canes fan also acknowledges that that storyline and that excitement was taken from you. So the Canes fan's out for blood right now because it was taken from you for the stupidest of all the stupid reasons. And if the Canes follow that up with getting smacked by UNC, which might happen, this could be a major turning point for the fan base when it comes to how Mario Cristobal is perceived. Now, it's year number 2. He's not getting fired, signed an 8-year deal. They can lose the rest of the games this year. He's not going anywhere. But as far as Coach Cristobal, he's already lost a lot of the fan base from last week. That is super difficult to recover from. And you may not get those fans back on your side until this team actually does some real winning. But based on last week, if they come out this week and get crushed by UNC, you may have a grand majority of the fan base that really turn on Mario Cristobal. This is a really, really interesting week for Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricane fan. And that, of course, will bring us to today's edition of Twitter Jam. All right, so Twitter Jam this week, you guessed it, it's on Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes. We do Twitter Jam every week. One of the big stories, one of the hot stories, whatever we got going on here. We go onto Twitter. We see how everybody's reacting. You guys know how we do here on ZASLOW Show 2.0. So, here's what we got going on for Twitter Jam. First up, this tweet is from Will Manso, Local 10 WPLG. So, he sends out a tweet here that says, for those asking about the Canes kneeling at the end of games under Mario Cristobal, only one time in 2 seasons at UM have they won a game within 1 score in regulation. That was last season at Virginia Tech. They took a knee on the final 2 snaps. Other wins, they've run plays at the end of games, went up big, and he attaches a video of them kneeling on the ball against Virginia Tech last year. See, this is important context because you got people saying now, Coach Cristobal has never knelt on the ball 1 time this year. It's just not his thing. No, that's stupid. Those are blowouts. Get the young kids reps. Hand the ball at the end of the game in a multi-score game. Not the same thing. That's an excellent job there by Will Manso, that the only other time they have won a 1-score game, it was at Virginia Tech last year, and they kneeled on the ball. Excellent job there by Will Manso. Next up here, this is from Q Sports Media. That's a content creator. They're a big Canes fan, Sports Media. And here, it's a video of right before the final play with offense coordinator Shannon Dawson standing there next to Coach Cristobal, and it's video of it. And it says here, help me out because to me it looks like Mario Cristobal tells Shannon Dawson, quote, you might want to kneel it out here, end quote. All right, I can't exactly, it looks like he might be saying that. But here's the thing. I'm not passing any blame onto Shannon Dawson. I mean, you want to blame him? Fine. Coach Cristobal is standing next to him. Why is that? Why is Shannon Dawson in charge in that spot when Coach Cristobal knows, yeah, you might want to kneel on the ball? Who's in charge? Is the offensive coordinator in charge or is Mario Cristobal in charge? If Cristobal is in charge, if he's the head coach, tell him to kneel on the ball. It's not a suggestion. It's not a maybe. It's not a might. You might want to. Tell him to kneel on the ball. We're not fucking around. So, no. I'm still on. You want to be mad at Shannon Dawson? Fine. It's a Cristobal blunder. All right. Moving on here. Next up. This tweet is from Reddit CFB. That's Reddit College Football. They tweet out here, and this is in response to Shannon Dawson yesterday saying, quote, what we did at the end was the wrong decision. I called it. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and go through the process with you guys. I called the play. Reddit CFB responds with, Mario Cristobal has convinced offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson to fall on his sword for making the decision that Cristobal has repeatedly made at Miami and at Oregon before he worked with Dawson. All right, that is true, all right, but again, I push back on the decision he's repeatedly made at Miami. No, he hasn't. As Will Mansell pointed out, he kneeled on the ball last year against Virginia Tech. Every other game has been a multi-score game. It's not the same thing. All right. This tweet here is from the Dan Lebitard Show with Stu Gatz. And they've attached, this is from the Sunday Night Live NFL postgame show with 10-Day Tony and Juju Gotti. And Juju Gotti, who is just a super nice guy. How about this? He lights up. This is on an NFL show on Sunday night. He lights up Coach Cristobal.
Zach Morris, timeout. The Joker of the damn week is Mario Cristobal. I don't give a damn if it's the NFL show or the WNBA show.
I was trying not to bring that up.
Joker of the week is Mario Cristobal. You, sir, are the brother. You lucky we stop at the word Joker of the week because, boy, you got them kids on the sideline crying. You got parents dapping each other off, asking each other, why do we come here? Who's in charge? Who's responsible? You got us at the house gasping. It's 12 at night on the Saturday. I'm locked back into football now. Come on, bro. Wake up, bro. What the hell is going on at the University of Miami? You, sir, are the Joker of the Week. The name of the award is going to be called the Mario Cristobal Joker of the Week Award. From moving forward until you stop me. My bad. Back. Time in.
I'll tell you, for Juju Gotti to light you up like that, you know you done fucked up. He is like the nicest guy. This next tweet, Canes Insight. They say they're the number one source for everything Miami Hurricanes athletics, all right? And they tweeted out Mario Cristobal's opening statement yesterday in his weekly press conference.
All right, good afternoon. Appreciate you guys being here. Obviously, tough one on Saturday. A really tough one. Defense played really, really well in a game where we were a little bit out of sorts offensively, but a team battled really hard and gave us an opportunity to win. And as I stated, I made the wrong call, take full ownership and not taking a knee and giving them the opportunity to have a couple of extra plays and preventing us from sealing the win. So our guys showed up, both coaches and players showed up with a tremendous attitude, which is not surprising, to get right back to work and go get better and all focus on improvement and getting ready for our opportunity this weekend and looking forward to getting after it again tomorrow.
All right, this next tweet here is from David P. Sampson. Nothing personal, Meadowlark Media. He tweets out, I appreciate that Cristobal has taken responsibility for not kneeling, but I simply cannot understand why there was even a decision to apologize for. There is no other possible play in this game-ending scenario. Not one. My bad seems not good enough. Am I missing something? No, you're not missing anything. I mean, it's like I said after the game. Mario Cristobal, it's as if he was presented with two choices. Choice A, kneel on the ball and win the game. Choice A, end the game, you win. Or choice B, keep playing. And he chose choice B. It's inexcusable. John Michaels, he's our pal. He hosts 6 to 10 a.m. every weekday on 680 The Fan in Miami. He's a huge Canes fan. He tweets out, Cristobal just did the dumbest thing in the history of football. That was right after the game. Yeah, it's the dumbest thing. When you choose not to win a game, when you can choose to win the game, that's the dumbest thing. That's the dumbest thing you do. All right. Barry Jackson, Florida Sports Buzz. He tweets out, instead of spending the offseason sending emails threatening his staff if they talk more to local writers, Cristobal should have worked on simple math instead. What a joke. It sounds like he's calling Cristobal stupid. I mean, yesterday I did title yesterday's episode, Is Coach Cristobal a Meatball? So I guess I kind of did the same thing. Although mine's more in question form. Anyway, and that right there, yeah, that's going to do it. That right there is another edition of Twitter Jam.